Okay, so there are two main tasks that we're gonna have to do. Um, you don't have to finish it right now. You can uh create a topology, or you can start it and you can finish it at home. Um, I will not know whether it's exactly like the home topology that you have, right? Because I don't live with you. So whatever you put on your network topology, I would encourage you to visualize your network, right? The whole goal is to show you how to do it. So you can throw more or less or the same number of equipment or devices on there. That's great, right? So the important part is to do. Okay. It's not about is it right or is it wrong, right? I don't know how many devices you have, only you would know that. So, all right. Um, you can press the control key on your keyboard and you can click the link that is provided in your lab and you can find your lab, right? When you go to the home page, go to day one and it says day one lab. You click this page and you can download the document. So that way you can add the screenshot to it. Or if you want, you can have a separate document. That's up to you. But I typically would encourage you to add your screenshot on here so that way you know what it looks like when you go back to it. Okay? So we are going to do part A now, and then we'll work on part B after we're done. Okay, so I'm gonna now when you visit the website down the line, I wrote this lab a while back, so sometime they changed the website like last week. So what you see is it's a little bit different. Okay. But typically it's gonna have the same component, the interface changed slightly. So press Control key and click on the link. It's going to take you to the actual website. And then you would see this button that's showing up. You're going to click create a network diagram. Now you can make other diagram using Creately, right? Like I have computer science students in my class and they have to do a flow chart for their software. So you can use it for that. You can use it for project management in creating flow charts for that. We're gonna do a demo account, right? If you want to sign up, that's up to you. I'm just gonna use my demo account. So it's going to be like this. It already gives me a template to work with, right? Many of my students, this is what they screenshot because they don't look closely. So I want you to think about what we talk about today, and I want you to think about your home network and what it has. Definitely, most home network don't have firewall. Okay. And you might have a wireless router. So on the left-hand side, you can replace your equipment by dragging it in and how you can delete. So I'm going to delete the firewall right now for you. So click it, right? And then I think you can right click it and then you can choose delete. Okay. So that's simple as that. So I'm going to delete the firewall. But wait, I have to connect my router to the service provider network. Remember we talk about the cloud, right? And if you want to name your workspace, like what I said in the lab, you can call CIS-824B, right? Day one lab or lab one. Whatever name you want. Now, if you save it, you can share it with other people. So let's say if you're a network engineer and you want to run this to your IT director to look at like your design, right? Save it, create an account, save it, and then you can share it. You can download the file also and send it in email. Okay, I at home, I don't have a switch, so you can right click that one and you can also delete, right? I might have a PC, maybe I'm gaming or using my PC for work, and I have a laptop. If you have multiple laptops, you can go to the left here, click like a notebook, and I can drag it to the right. Oh, it doesn't let you now? Oh, boo-boo. Or let's see if we can copy it. It gives me a paste option. Okay. Well, I guess if you create an account, they'll let you know. It changes over time. So the one with the little crown symbol, I think it's like a premium. Let's click all shape. Let's see.
What are we trying to do, Professor?
We're trying to add devices that would resemble our home network.
You can use the stickers.
Yeah.
Like the phone?
But the sticker doesn't have all the components though. They're making it harder for you to use the free stuff, I guess. Okay. Now, let's say that I want to relabel, right? You can add the text, so you can edit text, which when you click the T, it's going to allow you to change. So let's say that I don't want to call this access point. I want to call this my wireless router. I just click on the label, right? I click on the label and then I click the T for text. Like this, or I'm sorry, strike through, or you can just click it and type.
And then what are we going to do? What are we choose? Wait.
We can say wireless router instead of access point. Now, if I want to connect my PC to my wireless router, right? Let me see. They have a connection. I think I wrote you this step. Oh, they put the lines right here. You see the little arrow right here where it says line, or you can press L, right? So click the line. It's on the bottom. Now the toolbar is on the bottom. So you click that, right? And then you can connect. So click the little arrow where it says line. Make sure you highlight it. So I'm going to go, see how when I click it, I have a little plus sign. I'm going to connect it from the dot, which is this dot. And then I can drag it. Ideally, I can drag it. Oh, no. Let's go back. I click this gaming mouse. I press the left thumb accidentally. And so, all right. So I deleted that firewall. We're going to go back because it doesn't save it. But if you make an account, we can save it. Okay. So what we can do is we can also use a draw connector, or we can use the line to represent cable connection, right? So I can go, so I make sure I click the L or the line that's on the bottom right or bottom left of your screen. And then when I do that, I would have the plus. I click the point and then you just take the thing and you connect it. And then you can also use like the lines on, you want an angle. You want it curve. So the goal is to connect you from the router, or you can also delete the router or change it. So if I want to relabel this, right, I can just click on the text and I can say wireless router.
So we keep the access point?
Yeah, if you want, you can relabel that as an access point. Yeah. I'm going to delete this guy actually because technically we don't have a regular router.
The access point will be like a modem.
Yeah, yeah. So you might have a modem and a wireless router, right? So I can label this as a wireless router. And then the way that you undo is I think it takes control Z, right? Control Z to undo. I'll just call this. It doesn't look like this technically, but because we can't use this thing without logging in, right? I'm just gonna call this my modem, like, you know, cable modem or whatever modem you use. Let me see.
If we create an account, do we need to pay a subscription or do we use?
I think you can use the free one, and then if you pay for the subscription, you have access to more of their assets, which is like the shapes. So you just drag the arrow, you can connect it, or you can connect this guy to this other guy. Now I'm using the straight line, so it looks kind of ugly, but you can change your line style to angle, right? And then you have to play with it. So the way that I would suggest is the cleaner it is, the easier it is for you to do the line. You can also choose like different color line to help it like visualize like which cable is connecting to which port, right? Um, so on, right? You can beautify it. So I can change style, like I can make that one blue and I can make this one, you click the little easel, right? Is that what it's called? I don't know. All right, you can change it. You can beautify it that way. Okay? Now, if unfortunately on this website, if you sign up, you have access to these things. So I don't require you to do a lot. The whole goal is to show you, right, what that looks like. So the Wi-Fi, typically you don't use the line, you would use the little Wi-Fi symbol, right? If you click view all, it does have a signal thing. So yeah, I think if you click this, they want you to pay. So, and then I want to also connect my service provider, which is my cloud, right? And I want to drag this to my modem like that, right? That's true because all of us have to get that connected, and that's typically to your wall, and that line connects to your garage, which is a D mark for your home. And out on the street, you typically see boxes or areas that would be connected to that service provider like Spectrum or Frontier. Frontier now does fiber directly to your home. They will dig, but you have to pay for the subscription contract, um, and so on, right? So now we know how to draw your home topology. Okay, so are we good with that? Any question? Sometimes you're gonna get better tools, right? Like the paradigm one that you saw on our assignment, that one is way better than this one, right? Sometimes they have more shapes. I mean, free stuff, you can't really like have access to a lot of resources these days. So, all right, we're gonna use paradigm for part B if you don't have questions for part A. So after you have your topology that you want, right? You can clean it up a little bit. I'm a little sloppy with this angle right here, right? Or you can also label and add the name to your drawing. You can screenshot it. So I'm going to use snip, or you can do alt print screen, click new, drag it. And then I go to my part A of my assignment. The end of it, I'll just do Control V or paste it, right? You can size it down to the size that you want. And there I have something to show that I did it. Now, if you go for IT program or security program in some classes, they are going to require you to do that. I required this for 40A, something similar. if you go to the university, they're gonna, for the bachelor degree, they're gonna make you design an entire secure network in some classes. So you have to draw not just one, but every segment of that network. And it could be, typically you would use logical topology, or you can draw a physical one. Like you have to draw the layout of the building and how these systems are connected with IP addresses and so on. Um, but anyway, right? So now you see the tools. All right, in the next one, we are gonna add these components, right? So you can start out with a template, you can subtract and add to the template. The goal is that you shouldn't work harder, you should work smarter, uh, using the existing resources that's given to you. So we are gonna press Control and we're gonna click the link that is provided there. And you saw this before in the assignment. So we're going to do a make network diagram. So we're going to click that. So all of these tools have a button where you can start. So this one is a little bit more free friendly. And I like free. So, but like I said, right, it will look a little different. So your workspace is going to be blank on this one, and you're going to start from scratch. But you can also bring in a template and be able to do that. So what I need to include is this is the inventory that I have for my network right now. I need a router. I need two switches. I need some computers, right? So we'll start with the router. So you can hover your cursor over the appliances and it will tell you which one. And if you cannot find the one that you want, you can just use the one that's there and relabel it, right? Patch panel. Here's the router. It's like in the middle next to the satellite dishes. So drag it to your workspace. And then the way that you scale it bigger or smaller, put your cursor where it's, diagonally arrowed like that. You can drag it out, right? And then if you want to label, click the text tool, which is T, and then you can move your text after you type it. So let's say this is router. I could just call this router 1 or something and then drag it underneath. You should label all the devices. In typical logical topology, we put an IP address. Now, if you want to put an IP address, I'm going to add another text so you can see, okay? So let's say that I want to put IP address for home. It's typically 192.168.0, let's say .1. So the .1 there indicates that's your first system that you see when you're coming in from the internet. Most router is typically the host 1 here. That's the host values .1. Okay, so once I have the IP address, I put it there. You can put it all in one label. I'm just showing you to add labels to it. All right, so we got the router. We are going to add the next thing is going to be the switch. Now there's the switch. It's beneath the little lock. So you're going to add, and then you can make it bigger a little bit or smaller. Okay. And then we're going to drag another one. I like to make it like organized where it's like the two switches going to connect to the router at the same level if it's equal in the role. You don't have to do that. So I'm gonna, visually it should be easy to see, right? As long as it's easy to see, then we're good, right? Like if someone else, and I say this to computer science students, your flow chart should be easy for another software engineer to look at and say, oh, that's a program, right? This is a network layout. If it's easy to detect like which system is which, then it's good, right? So, um, you know. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing with the label. We're gonna take the text tool. Of course, it's gonna put in the middle because it's just the way the software is. You type it. I'm gonna call this switch 1, right? After you type, then drag it drag it under switch 1. Because we are an English country, English speaking country, I go from left to right, but depending on who's your audience, be mindful of how they read text and what they see, right? And then same thing with another text. We're going to do switch 2. And then after you label, you just drag it underneath the switch. And if you want, I'm going to teach you how to put the IP address. So this is a .1 here. Logically, this is a .2 and .3, okay? But if they're on a different network, then we'll consider subnet. But I'm just going to do it on all one network so that way you can see. So I'm going to do 192.168.0.2, and this is for my switch 1. Like that. They all have to be individual host value. You cannot have a .1 for the next appliance because it'll be confused. Like which one? It's kind of like home addresses, right? Your neighbor's address is different than yours. You don't want the package to go to the wrong house. So it has to be unique in the host ID here. If this is a .1, why is it a .1? It's a gate to the internet. It's your gateway. So it's the first system that the internet sees. This is the next system, which is my first switch. And then also a .3 for the next one, 192.168.0.3. Now, I'm not getting into the subnet part here, right? That would be more advanced in the networking area. I'm just showing you the distinguish between this system, switch 1 and switch 2, switch 1 and the router, and so on, right? They have to be unique IP address. And this is an IPv4. It's a version 4 IP. Most network uses IPv4 and IPv6 these days. Okay, so we got this. Now, if you want to connect them with cable, you click the line, and we would typically, I like to use the single line for Ethernet and double line for bidirectional or other things, right? However you want to do this. And so you can use the line, and then you would go from here and then drag it to your switch, right? And then click the line again. Like I said, it's the tool that's limited. So, or you can also change your connector to make it cleaner. I will not make it as a graphic artist, I'll tell you. I don't have that artistic graphical mind point. I'm very technical and very literal. So the way I draw topology is like, oh, this connect to this. As long as it's clean looking, then it's good. Like I don't beautify it. So, and I expect the same with the engineers that I work with. So, you get the point, right? We're going to connect this appliance using the line, select a single line, and then you just drag it to your second switch. There you go. And if you want color, right, you can choose the color, etc. in the color palette. All right, next we're going to work on the next item, which is 5 workstations. So your workstations are here, right? Now, I think you can change your layout, maybe not. Let me see. Or then you can resize these. That's up to you. There has to be a way that you can make it.
It kind of use
Oh, here's page
there's
7.
like arrows and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So you can use
No, like on underneath the network, there's like arrows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
good. Yeah, you can style it too. Yeah.
I could that work too?
Yeah, you can use it this way, but these are like more like turn left, turn right kind of thing for the flow chart.
Cause I
Like,
kinda use like the curved one and then just positioned it.
perfect. That's up to you. Yeah. I'm not picky when I look at this as long as it makes sense to me logically, right? Yeah, if you want to add these arrows, thank you for pointing that out. But you can go to file and then go to page setup. I'm gonna make, oh, it is already on landscape, huh? Yeah, I just, my appliance is too big. So we're gonna size it down and then drag these. You can put the label at the top to get them out of the way. Yeah, I might have to make them smaller to fit the 5PC. Now, do you have to put all the 5PC? If you want to do it like a physical type of drawing, then yeah, you will put those. But you can just put one PC and then 5 IP addresses. People would understand that those are 5 PC connecting, right? So I'm just gonna do that because I'm running out of room because my my things are too big. But you know, take the time to size it down if your job depends on it. It does have the alignment so that way like you would match it up to the others. So if you like drawing and doing things like drafting or graphic, right? This is perfect for you. All right. Next, I'm gonna add the workstation. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag I think the monitor. So workstation is like PC. So we're just gonna use that one. We just put the PC here. I'm not going to make 5 PC. You can, and you can connect it to the switch only because I'm running out of space. But if you want to add 5 PC to your drawing, you can. I'm just going to do 1 PC, but I'm going to put my label, say workstations 1 through 5 like that. And then I will put it underneath it, and then I'll add the IP address. We're going to do 192.168.0.4. Does that logically make sense, right? After the switch, we have the PC now, and we're going to do through, or you can do a dash, 192.168.0. So we add 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So we're going to go up to .8. And then we'll drag that, put it here. Is that good? Can we see? Okay. Now you can just do the line connecting. Can I divide up the workstations to both? You can, right? You can do 2 here, 3 here. We don't have a switch without a PC, so you can subtract some, right? I'll do that for you so you can see. Instead of having all in one segment, we can also divide it up. So alternatively, you can add a PC over here, right? And then we can divide up half and half or 2 and 3. So I'm gonna do that next. So instead of all on one segment, I'm just gonna modify maybe 1 to 3, right? So that changes the IP address 4, 5, and 6. So it's gonna go up to .6 at the end. And then we can label this over here. Workstations 4 through 5, right? And then we're gonna take this and put it over here. And then we can add the appropriate IP address. This is more than what I demo in my 40A class sometimes. But I'm going to spend the time to teach you and them how to do it correctly. So after the 6, 7, and 8, right? For the two more. So 7 through 192.168.0.8. So we can take this and put it over here. And then you can draw the lines from this to the switch like that. And then the same thing over here. Oh, I didn't want that. See? Just backspace to also delete. It doesn't touch it, unfortunately. But anyway, so ugly. Angle it out so it's better. And you can also move the label so it's not impeding the line like that. A little cleaner. Okay, so you get the point, right? Now, next one we need to tackle is 4 laptops and some mobile devices. Again, 2 laptops. You don't need to do 2 laptops. You can just do one representation of the laptops, like what we did with the workstation, and then the devices is the same. Because in a enterprise environment, you're gonna have 2,000 devices. Do you want to drag 2,000 devices onto your diagram? No, it's hard to see also, right? So you can just have a representation of the device. But with that, we need to have like something wireless also. Okay. So I guess this router can also be a wireless router. Okay, what we're gonna, so we can also add this if you want. Anyway, we're gonna add the laptops. So you can select laptop and then I'm gonna just drag it to the left. And then I'm just going to use the phone as my mobile device. I'm going to drag it to the right so it's easy to see, right? And then you can label laptop 1 to 2. Put it here. Add another label for the IP 192.168.0. What did we leave up? .8. So it'll be .9 to 192.168.0.10. So those will be your laptop over here, right? And then the same thing with the mobile device. We'll label mobile device 1 to 2. Voila. And we can label the IP address 192.168.0.11 to 192.168.0.12. Put it there. Does it have signal? Oh, yeah, it does. So I will just use, I guess, comlink to represent wireless. So drag this over here. Oh, click it and put it. Does it let you? Maybe not. Comlink icon. Oh, it did it right here. So drag it. I don't want to multi-select, so you just drag it, maybe rotate it. Something like that, right? That works. And then let's see if we can copy paste. Allow. There we go. Yeah, you can duplicate by copy paste. There you go. So now I have wireless connection. Yay. What else? We need printers and copiers, right? So 2 more printers. So as you can see, the more devices you have, the more complex your diagram can be. So we have a copier here. Let me find a printer. Is there a printer? It has telephone. Oh, there is a printer. So we're gonna put the printer here. So if you see that there's 2 printers and there's 2 segments, does it make sense to put 1 printer on each side, right? We very rarely that you don't put the printer on the other one, but we would just assume that the printer is needed on each side, right? And you can put it here, you can put it there. I'm just gonna put it each side. So over here, you can size it down if you want. And then we'll label. So we would follow the IP address. So where we left off was what? The .12, right? So I can do the text. We say printer 1. Sometimes they name the printer like HP and the model, or I don't recommend putting the model in the name, but they would say like student printer 1, instructor printer 1, etc. Right? So that way they know like, or sometime I also don't recommend putting room number with your computer system information, but and then we would do the IP address, so 192.168.0. We left it off at 12, so this will be a 13. That's the next one. And you can move the computer a little bit to the right. And then the same thing with the next printer. Oops. I forgot that you can't drag it until you fill it. So printer 2. And then the next label is the IP. So printer 1 is 13, so printer 2 is .14. And it just increment up like that, right? Okay, now 2 more things. Your copier and your phones, right? And these are your IP phones. They're not your landline phones because everything is digital in our TCP IP network. So we're going to do a copier. We're going to share the copier in both segments. So let's say this is 1 department and this is 2 department, like finance, marketing, something like that, right? They're going to share the copier. So you can connect it to both switch if you want. So I'm going to still label. So we're going to do copier 1 because you never know, they might buy another copier. And then they all have IP addresses. Everything that you use from your phone to your switch to your copier to your printer, everything has an IP, okay? Otherwise, we won't be able to network them together in a TCP IP environment. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do 192.168.0. Remember, the other one is 14 was the last one for the printer, so this is going to be a .15. For the copier, which is we're going to increment 1 up for the host ID. And what you can do is you can, I forgot to draw the line for my printer. You can also do wireless printer, right? I'm just going to connect it to the switch. So that way it can be shared. If you want to the wireless, then everybody can share, but you get the idea, right? This one is for this segment. And then this one, the printer 2 is for switch 2 and these computers. And then the copier, we can connect to both switch because we want to share that copier. But you don't have to, right? It's really depending on how you want to use your copier. So there you go. Okay. So networking is really about for a system to communicate and share resources. That's what we define it as, right? All right. Next is the last item, your phones, right? So there are 3 phones. And it could be that like these are for like receptionist desk in each department. Who knows, right? But typically you would have 1 phone per user. And I typically would see that there's like 1 workstation next to 1 phone, but we're gonna do 1 phone drop in and then we can just add it, or you can do both side. That's up to you. So we're gonna select this phone where it says phone. You don't want the old school analog phone, you want the digital phone, which is this one, bless you. And they also have IP address. So I'm just gonna drag the phone onto this side or that side. It's up to you, right? You can put it up or you can put it over here. I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to put it here and size it down a little bit. And I'm going to blush you. I'm going to add it also onto switch number 2. Why? I have an extra one. So I'm going to click the phone again and then add it to this side. And then you can label it. So this is, we can do phone 1 and 2 and then phone 3 over here, however you want to divide them up. Or you can put it all on one side. That's up to you. So if you have like a call center, you're going to have like a bunch of phones. We don't want to draw like 16,000 phones. We want to just put 1 and then the list of IP addresses and the label for them, right? So let's label this one. So we're going to say phone 1 to 2 and put that here. Let's put him up a little bit. And then this one is connecting to this switch. So I might need to, sorry, I'm gonna move my laptop up a little bit. Slice it down. Bring this up so it's cleaner. And then bring my phone down here. So you have to arrange it a little bit so that way like the line is not impeding the other image or visibly covering or overlapping. All right, then I'm going to connect. Let's label the IP address for the phone. So 192.168.0. We left off at 15 for the copier. So .16 to 192.168.0. .17 because 2 phones, right? And oops. And then I'm too fast to click. All right, let's put that. Isn't that fun? So some of my students are like, oh, because I draw the topology, I visualize, right, how these things work together. And I hope this helps you see, right, how they are connected. And then you can repeat the same thing with the other phone, right? So I would have, I'm going to label this one. Phone number 3. Because there are 3 phones. And then we would label the IP address 192.168.0 and 18 is the next one. And there you go. We completed. with 30 minutes to spare. So this is what mine look like. Yours might look prettier, and that's okay, right? And then I forgot the line for the copier, so we just do that one. So go back and kind of touch up on the things that you want to touch up. Like that. Bring it up. And then you want to put a title, which I forgot to tell you, right? You can say small business network topology. And in the case that if this is like one segment, like let's say branch one, you can say branch one business topology or bank topology, whatever is pertaining to your business. And then you can bold it, stuff like that. So we did it. And then you can like edit it to make it a little cleaner. I've seen really, really great topology from students when I taught upper division classes where I make them design a secure network, right? And a lot of them spend a lot of time and they've used different tools to be able to simulate what a physical or logical layout would be. Like I said, right? Typically, this is for like network engineer or even administrator if you don't have an engineer or an analyst, but you would see something like this. And in greater scales, if you're looking at data center or enterprise network. But when you see things like with retail stores or manufacturing, they use different equipments, different systems, sales terminal, etc. So you kind of have to simulate that in a layout or include those. Okay, so we can screenshot it, or if you want, if you want to download your file, save your file, you can. Any question? Yeah, like it, right? And if this is your thing, you can be the network engineer. And then you see the security people coming in, you're like, you see this right here? What? You have no fault tolerance right here. Attack here. Then you're like, okay, I have to add another router and back up that, so you have to have fault tolerance because you don't want a single point failure. And then you have to adapt to it. So physically we would have to have an alternative way to connect, right? We don't want this router to go out. And then you also want to connect the switch one to switch two, right? In the case if you want this side to communicate with this side. What if I want to sit here and I want to print on the other printer, right? Because I ran out of ink or something like that. So I can draw a line to connect this switch to a switch, Mm-hmm. So when you use same device connection, we use a crossover cable on the Ethernet, right? And so on. So there you go. And for the phone, they are cable connected. Like these phones right here, right? You see this? Ethernet cable. Yeah. So you can draw the line for your phone and you can bring it back. Oops. You can bring it back to this. I guess you can curve it if you like drag it a different way, right? Some of you figured that out already. All right. So there you go. Okay. Oh, I have an extra arrow here. That's kind of ugly. You can connect your other phone. Fun. So Cisco has a thing called Packet Tracer. It's similar to this, but you can interface with it. You can configure it. Like you can put in the IP address. So I was hoping to maybe like do that part for the project. So I can simulate it on tomorrow if we have time. So that way you can get started on it. You can install Packet Tracer on your computer or you can use it here. But you know, any question? Okay, stop her.